If you want to quit your 9 to 5 job, or you've recently quit your 9 to 5 job and you're not having the success that you thought you would, you need to do these 3 things in order to realize your dream of being financially independent, running your own internet-based business, and living life according to your dictates, the way you want to live. And it takes 3 things. Number one, you got to decide. You got to decide, what do you want to do? You got to decide how much money you want to make, and you got to decide how is it that you want to live. You got to determine that in advance. What type of lifestyle do you want to have? How much money do you want to make? And what is it that you want to do? So you got to come up with those 3 things in advance. And that's just one part of the 3 points I'm going to hit. That one point is decision. So you're making a decision, because when you make a decision, you start to focus everything in on that decision. Then you just got to back it up, which I'm going to get into those points later. But the first one is decide. You make that decision. There's no boss to do that for you. You need to do that. And when you do that, you begin to drive the engine. So you need to sit down and you need to create a vision. You need to actually write all this out. You need to write out how much money you want to make, what type of lifestyle you want to have, what is it that you want to do, what is it that really floats your boat, what is it that you really like to do, and don't get too keyed up on what it is that you like to do, because what I found is, if I am making money at something and it's my own business or something that I want to do, then there's things about that particular task or that particular, way of going about making that money. There's something about that I do like. So what I will do is, from there, I will hone in on what it is I do like about that, and I will make a business around that. So some people get caught up in their passion and what drives them and what they really, really like to do in life. And sometimes there's no market for that. So you got to go into an area where there's a market for what you do. But that market may not hit you in the beginning. You may not see it, but there are things that you like doing, actions that you like taking. There's skills that you have, and those skills are very valuable in the marketplace. You can find ways to add value in the marketplace with those skills. You just got to match those skills up with a particular service or product that you can sell. That takes a little time. So when you're brainstorming, just be a little loose with that part of it. Just think about what you like doing. Do you like making videos? Do you like talking? Because if you like talking, you could do podcasts. Do you like writing? If you like writing, you could do blogs. You can do newsletters. Do you like crafts? Do you like making things? Because if you do that, you can create your own shop. You can do drop shipping. So that's where I think people get so caught up into thinking, well, hey, I've liked such and such my whole life, so I want to go do this. And whatever that is, it may not be something that the marketplace values, so you won't get paid for it. You could like it all you want, but there aren't enough other people out there who like it as much as you do, that you can draw from that pool to create an income from it. So that's something that a lot of people miss, especially in the beginning, and then they are frustrated a year or two later when they've put all this work into creating a product or service that nobody wants to buy. So think in terms of your skills, what you have right now, those skills that you have that are valuable, and then look in the marketplace and see where you can use those skills to help other people and bring value to their lives. Because when you do that, that's when you create an income, and you will create a product or service that will help people, and then that income can to fund the lifestyle that you want. So the lifestyle comes from the money that you make, and the money that you make comes from the skills that you use to create a product or service that people want. You're adding value to the marketplace. Never, ever, ever forget that. It's the value that you bring to the table, the value that you give people, that creates the income that you want, which funds or fuels the lifestyle that you desire. That brings me back to, what is that lifestyle? How do you want to live? Where do you want to live? Who do you want to be with? Those type of things need to be on paper as well, because those things form your vision. And those are the reasons that you do what you do. It isn't the money. The money gives you the ability and the wherewithal to do these things, but you got to know what you're funneling that towards, because that's what makes you excited. It's that and not the money. The money is just a tool or a means to get what it is that you want and live the way that you want. And you have to think about all of this. You have to really give it some thought in the beginning to really stay on track. There are other ways to do this, but to me, this is like the simplest way to do it. And to keep yourself on track and doing what you want to do and not getting so discouraged that you actually stop. Because when you have painted that vision clear enough, you will never, ever want to stop. It's like when you tell the kids that they're going to go to Disney World. You know, they're not going to forget that. So you do that to yourself. You got to do that to yourself. You got to paint a vision for yourself, something that makes you get out of the bed in the morning and gives you that drive, desire to do what you need to do. And this vision that I'm talking about, it can be adjusted as you go on, because once you do make $20, $30, $40,000 a month, you're going to have to up that vision. You're going to have to recast it. You're going to have to adjust it, because you'll be getting the things that you want. And if you don't adjust your vision, you'll plateau and you'll just stay at a certain level. And that could be a form of misery too, because you're not happy, because we are goal-striving individuals. That's what we are. We're made that way. We're made to create, and we are made to chase goals and the desires that we have in our heart. Sometimes we have to bring those out, though. We have to bring those out to where we can actually see them. We can go through our whole lives not thinking about what our true dreams and what our desires are, because we're chasing a paycheck. Again, I've done that. Just working week to week, getting that paycheck on Friday, blowing it on Saturday, and then on Sunday, getting that pit in your stomach of, oh, I got to go back and do all of this all over again. Myself, I got so tired of that. And I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way of living. There's got to be a better life. There's got to be a way in which I can be happy every day, doing something, pursuing goals, pursuing dreams that I want, that I desire, that make me happy. There's got to be a way to do that. And there's got to be a way in which I can be free to provide joy in other people's lives and do things for other people, and not be thinking about the dollar or the time that had me trapped at that time, had me trapped during that phase of my life. So that all helped me to form my vision. I was, sitting about and being frustrated about the current situation caused me to look at life and think it could be better. So if it was better, how would that look? That's how I form my vision. And that's how you can do yours. Just sit down and think about the things you don't like, things in areas in your life that you would love to be better, and what would your ideal day look like? Again, who would you spend it with? Where would you be? Would you be on the beach, in the mountains? All these things that you've probably heard before, but you haven't really personalized them. You got to personalize them, because when you do that, all of a sudden that 9-to-5 job, it starts to shrink. It doesn't seem as big as you're making it right now. You realize you do have options. You have a way of getting out of that, but it resides on the inside of you. And it starts with making a decision. You've got to make a decision, and you got to chart a new path, and you got to decide again, what is it that you want to do? And once you do that, once you get that part together, you're ready to move on to phase 2, or point number 2. They're not really phases, they're points. But the other point is commitment. You got to make a commitment. Once you decide what you want, then you got to commit to this new path, because this path is not the same path that you're on right now, or that you've been on when you worked a job. It's totally different, and you got to commit to that path. You can't go at this thinking, okay, I'm working my job, but I got this little side thing. People call it a side hustle. Well, you can have a side hustle if you want to work your job for the next 30, 40 years. That's okay. And that's for some people. But if you come through this video this far, I don't think that's for you. So it can't be a side thing. It's got to be something that you're committed to building your business, and your job is helping you to fund that dream till your business actually eclipses your job when it comes to the money that you make and the fulfillment that you're getting out of it, and the overall the growth of your business. When it grows to the point that your job really gets in the way of you building your business to a level of, let's say, millions, and you got a job that's paying you, 50, 60, 70, $100,000 a year, but your business is actually paying you, $150,000 a year. And if you had more time, you realize that you could double that probably in 2 months. When you get to that point, then that's the point that you can decide, I'm totally going to let my job go. But in order to do that, you got to commit to your business first. And that's the thing that a lot of people miss. They don't commit to their business. They're more committed to their job than they are to their business. Now, you committed to your job from a standpoint of it's paying the bills and it's helping me to have that cushion and that safety net until my business gets off the ground and it's self-sustaining and it takes care of itself. I have my job as my backup and getting me there. So you'll go to your 9-to-5 job every day. You'll continue to do everything you've always done. You'll put in all the work that you need to get done to really stay successful at your job. And you're probably the type of person that you're so good at what you do at your job anyway, you could probably do it in your sleep. And the work that is going to require you to build your business, it won't even interfere with you doing your job. Ideally, that's the way it should be. You should be that good that it shouldn't even interfere with it. So you can do your job and you can do your business, but you got to understand, in your mind, your business has a priority over like promotions, taking on new responsibilities at your job, or changing up your schedule. Your business has priority over that. So when all those things come down the pike and they're offered to you from your job, you don't take them. You don't take them because your business means more to you than that promotion or another raise. All these other things that are offered to you, you don't want to take those because your business means more. And that's the other thing. Once you really start to roll with your business, your attitude will get better. You will seem at work, you will seem happier, you'll seem more positive, and all of these things will look appealing to your boss and your the higher ups in your company, and they'll look at you and say, that's the person we need to peg for a promotion. That's the person we need to give more responsibility. That is the person, hey, let's send them, out of town to go help start up this new project, because they're very committed and they are very upbeat, they're positive, they're enthusiastic, and they must love their job. So you can love your job, but like I said, that's fine, but it's still not taking priority over your business. Your business is taking priority over all of that because you've committed to it and you've committed all in, knowing that when you stay the course, eventually your business is going to totally replace your job in every way. So once you commit to that, you've commit to your new path, then you're always on the road to mastery. So in committing to your business, you're also committing to mastery. You're committing to mastering the skills that it takes to become just unreplaceable in the marketplace. And not only that, but the person who stands out in a positive way, and who is unique in their own way as well. You provide a good or service that nobody else can touch because you are actually putting everything you got into it. And the product or service that you're selling is you. You are the one. You are the engine. You are driving the ship. So when you commit to mastery, you master every skill associated with providing that service and that product. Everything that you do makes you better. So you should have a saying or a mantra. Every day I get better and better at my business. Every day I become a stronger business person. I am getting better every day. I am increasing my skills every day. I'm becoming more proficient. I'm becoming more efficient. I'm becoming more effective. I am creating more and more profit. I am excelling at what I do. And those should be mantras, affirmations. You should be saying those to yourself every single day. And here's a reason why, because this kind of leads into the third point, which I'm going to get into a little bit later. But when you think in terms of mastery and getting better every day, you don't think in terms of disappointment, frustration, and not moving as fast as you want it to move. Because that's the thing, when you are in business, you don't have a paycheck at the end of the week. You have to hang your hat on the fact that you're better at what you do than you were last week, than you were 3 months ago, than you were last year, if it takes that long. You just got to hang your hat on that you're better. And the fact that you're getting really good at what you do, that's going to yield the results. That's going to pay you the dividends. That's going to compound over time to give you a baseline, a foundation from which you do everything, because you're highly skilled. And even when you get these skills under your belt and you don't have to necessarily use them anymore, you start outsourcing them to other people or to employees that may be in your company. They start doing them. They take over those responsibilities. It's still going to help you that you master them and so you can actually pass on the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, to the next person, knowing that, hey, I know how to do everything that I'm showing you. Each one of those tasks I know how to do. You say that to yourself because you've mastered them. You've committed yourself to getting those skills under your belt and becoming very, very proficient at them. And now you're passing them off to other people, but you're doing it from a perspective of mastery, that you have actually mastered those skills. So when you pass them on to somebody else, you know every single aspect of that task, what it takes to be successful with that task. You know all the nuances, you know everything because you've done it. So your commitment to mastery will help you with your attitude when things get rough, because consistency and persistency leads to emotional stability. Again, this is going to be covered in the next point more in depth, but I want to say it right here because the mastery and becoming good at what you do is the thing that's going to excite you. It's actually going to take over for everything I talked about in the first point when I talked about your vision. This part of it will end up taking over for that. And you'll have to refer back to your vision from time to time, but you'll get so excited about mastery and getting better at what you do that you'll almost have that goal and that vision in the background. I had a business mentor who used to tell me all the time. He said, Anthony, form your goal, create your goal, and then determine the work, and then forget the goal. Yeah, so that was a really strong mentor of mine, business mentor of mine, told me that years ago. And that really is true. It works. It's like you just focus in on what you got to do, and you commit to doing the work every single day. You form habits, good work habits, and you just hang your hat on that every day when you go to bed at night. Did I do everything I was supposed to do today to move my business forward? Did I do that? And you keep answering yes to that, keep answering yes to that. And that will help your attitude. That will help you not to feel frustrated or as disappointed or as what's the word? Sometimes you feel, yeah, like you're failing, frustrated. That's the word. So you won't feel as frustrated. You know, it's like all those things will happen. You'll feel those ways, those negative emotions, but they won't last. They'll be fleeting because you'll know, hey, I'm doing what it takes to get better. And while you're there with that commitment, I always like to mention this. I mentioned business mentor earlier. You want to have a mentor. You want to have a mentor. You got to find somebody who has succeeded at what you want to do. Now, that can be through videos like you're watching right now, because of the way technology is these days. You can actually get access to people who are successful and who can help you along the way by just listening to their videos and by listening to podcasts. But the way you really up your game is getting a course, or getting some coaching, or just investing in something. It could be books as well, but invest in your knowledge and the mentorship that it takes to get where you want to go. You need to be listening to somebody who has already done what you want to do, or they're on the road to doing it, and they can provide you with inspiration. They can provide you with stories of what they've went through that you can relate to, and they can help you in so many ways to stay on track and not feel like you're the weirdest person on the planet, because that's the way I felt for the longest time, because I was doing things that nobody else was doing that I knew. You know, nobody in my family, none of my friends were doing what I was doing. And it just really felt weird at times. I felt like I was the only person on this planet who wanted to quit my job, which I was pretty successful at, making good money, but the only person on this whole planet who wanted to just quit that and go do something that I had no idea of whether or not I could do it or not, or skills necessary to be really good at it. I didn't have any of that, and just really just kind of like a fish out of water, you know, just like not really knowing the landscape of being an entrepreneur, not really understanding that, not understanding what it really took to have an online business and make it succeed. You know, while I was in that, you know, phase of it, especially when I first quit my job, I was looking at so many other things, you know, like surveys, drop shipping, of course, affiliate marketing, digital marketing, just, you know, creating your own product, what do you call it? Crafts, like building things like that, you know, creating digital prints and selling those. So many things like that. I kept looking at those things, and coaching, and I couldn't really go with any of them wholeheartedly, because whenever I would start and work on them, I would stop because I didn't have anybody to really relate to. I didn't have anybody to ask questions to or anything like that. So I would quit. That wasn't the only reason why I would quit, but I just know if I would have picked the avenue, picked the area to excel in and master that, the skills in that area, I would have been so much better off in having a mentor or a coach or somebody who I could talk to, bounce things off of, or you know, go in and read stuff that they've written or listen to videos that they put out and then check them off on my list and then get my perspective right and go back at it again. It would make so much more of a difference in the beginning for me, but it will definitely help you right now, and it's helped me a lot. So that's a big thing. Have a coach, have a mentor, have somebody else that you're listening to, so that you don't have to always just be alone with this, because there's no reason to do it alone. You don't have to. And the third thing is persist. So that led me right into everything I talked about, led me right into persist. And I've given you a few pointers on how to persist. So let's just go into persistence and how important that is. Number one, you gotta go back to commitment. Commit to yourself that you're not gonna give up. Just commit that you're not gonna give up. Because the ones who make it, that's the thing they all have in common. Every single successful person, they have that in common. They just didn't quit. They kept going when everybody else stopped. And If you would just persist, just stay in the game, eventually you will win. You got to think in terms of going at this uh, with a long view approach. You're thinking about the long haul. And I guess with my life, I think about it like this. I thought about this when I was getting out of the shower today. Um, some people will only take 10 weeks, 10 months on the outskirts of not seeing any success in their business, and then they quit and they go back to their job and put everything in their job again, or they get another job, or they just keep going on and on and on throughout life. Like I said, 10 weeks probably like an average, but then 10 months, like that probably is like, that's high cotton. That's like somebody who's really stuck in there, like, oh, I'm gonna get it done. After 10 months, they're done, they quit. So 10 years, if it took 10 years, you'd still be so much further ahead. Because that's what I was looking at with my job, 8.5 years. I went from waiting tables to being a manager. It took me like 8.5 years before I came to the point that, hey, I'm going to do something else. I really want to have my own business. So in that 8.5 years, I become really successful with that. So, and in my mind too, I'd already thought in terms of it when I first started. I really had, it's just in the back of my mind, I had a 10-year timetable on that. I had heights that I wanted to hit in that career after 10 years. And if I had those after 10 years, I was successful. And if I didn't, then in my mind, I ain't gonna say I wasn't successful. In my mind, I thought, okay, I just didn't really get to those heights. And then I was gonna have to decide, what I wanted to do after that. Did I wanna keep going at it? And did I wanna, change my direction a little bit? But after 8.5 years, I already knew. I knew probably a little bit before that, but it took me that long. After 8.5 years, I went in and pulled the trigger. But this is my point. 8.5 years compared to, like I said, 10 months or 10 weeks that some people will give a business before they just quit and not do it. So that's a thing to think about. If it even took 10 years, you'd be so much better off. Because just think if you quit your job after 8.5 years, I'm sorry, 8.5 months, and say, oh man, this stinks, it doesn't work. Well, you haven't really given it the time. You haven't gotten better. You haven't increased your skills. You haven't improved your skills. You haven't increased your proficiency at what you've done. And sometimes that takes time. And we have to give that time in our business as well for the fruits of your labor to be revealed to you before you see them. That's the one thing you can't completely control that timeline. You can shrink some things by shrinking your learning curve, but you really still have to put in the time. You have to put the reps in. And you may as well do it excitedly. You may as well be happy to put those reps in, knowing that you are improving and you are getting better at what you do, and you're able to provide more and more value to the marketplace, which translates into more income for you, which again transitions towards you having a better lifestyle, or the lifestyle that you desire. So you got to persist. You got to think in terms of the long haul, and you just can't quit. You just don't quit. Don't quit. You will eventually win if you don't quit, but you can't win if you quit. When you stop, it's over. And the thing is with successful people, again, that's the one thing that separates them from so many others. Again, I always talked about sports, and I love talking about Kobe, Michael Jordan, Tiger, just people like that, Federer. It's like I've always admired how they do things because they stand out from all their peers. And the reason why they stand out is because they spend so much time training or in the gym, and they're doing it when their peers aren't. It's like they know that if they continue to put that work in, they continue to get better, nobody can even touch them. I think I heard Kobe say one time, he said that he would go in the gym. Gosh, he had a routine. I can't break down the whole routine, but if you ever watch some of his YouTube videos, you'll get what I'm saying. But basically, his routine meant that he was training almost all day. He had time for his family, he had time to eat, he had time to rest, but so much of his lifestyle revolved around being in the gym, working on his game, honing his craft. And he said one time he was thinking about just getting even better than where he was before. And I think he added maybe like an hour or two in his gym time or something like that. But this was his rationale. His rationale was everybody else is like his competition. They're trying to catch him. He said, but there's no way they're going to catch me. He said, because I've been doing this for years and now I'm upping it again. And he said, they haven't even put in the year's work that I put in yet. So I'm increasing the distance between me and them by a whole lot more by just adding 2 more hours to my routine. And he said he did that and he just smoked the competition. So that's the way you got to look at it. You got to find joy in that. You got to find happiness in getting better and knowing that, hey, you're one of the best out there. And the thing is, you're unique. You provide something to the marketplace nobody else provides because you're giving the marketplace a piece of you and who you are. They actually buy you. Your business will never grow bigger than the person that you are. And you got to continue to get better in every area of your life. Fitness, your mental and spiritual life. All that, relationships. You got to get better in all of that because that forms a better person, a stronger person. And that comes from reading. It comes from listening to successful people. It comes from just doing the work. Again, I started working out on a regular basis. I'd always done it throughout my life, but when I was a manager, sometimes your hours, your schedule's just whacked. So I still did it, but I didn't do it as much as I like or as much as I do now. But about, I think it's almost a year ago now, I decided to just go to the gym every single day. I was going to get in the gym every single day. And once I made a decision to do that and I committed to it, I would go to the gym every single day. So what happened with that is it helped to transfer discipline and good work habits into other parts of my life. It's funny how that works. So when you're working on one area of your life, it moves into other areas of your life. Reading the Bible is the same way. Reading the Bible every day and praying every day, meditating every day, it just all made me better in every areas of my life. And it's amazing how that works. So you want to get better as a person. You want to continue to grow in every area of your life because, again, these are the things that make you unstoppable. These are the things that make you stand out in the marketplace. These are the things that make people want to, they want to have what you are offering to them. They want to pay you for that value that you're providing to them. And the bigger you become, the better you become, the more value you can offer. And again, the more money you make and the better lifestyle you can have. So those are the 3 things. And I hope you enjoyed everything I shared. And I hope you have a wonderful day and we'll talk soon.